Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. They move up to pick 228 in the 2025 NFL Draft to make one final selection. No, they still actually own pick. Oh no, now it's fixed. They traded 251 and 257 to move all the way up to make a selection here at 228. Kent Swanson here with Matty Lane, also
Woo!
Joshua Briscoe, looking to see who the Kansas City Chiefs are selecting with their last pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, moving the Mr. Irrelevant pick in 251 up to get somebody here in the middle of round 7.
Wow.
We were just talking about, do we think they're going to stick and pick? And you specifically just said, yeah, I think they're going to stick and pick.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I thought they were too, candidly. So I know that a running back recently came off the board that they really like, Damian Martinez out of Miami. The running back seems like the one position that I could see them taking.
Sure.
But who knows? I think it could be a variety of different at this point.
Yeah, let's
just real quick, since you alluded to it, Kent, it is officially 228 in exchange for 251 and 257. So this will be their last pick, barring even weirder things.
Let's just cut straight to the chase. I think everybody wants it to be a running back. We've thought they're going to take a running back for a long time here, and they haven't done so. It feels like running back is very likely in this particular pick for the Chiefs, right? So under the impression of it's a running back that we know for a fact the Chiefs have been interested in, like they had met with Devin Neal. He's gone off the board. DJ Giddens, I guess, and Devin Neal could have had a chance for a local pro day spot with them. We think they might have been interested or at least met with both off the board. You mentioned it, Damian Martinez. They had met with, they had a top 30 visit off the board. Here's the one running back left, or not one, but one of the running backs left that has a lot of hype coming into this part of the draft, like the late draft process that we also know met with the Chiefs. Jacory Krosky Merritt is a guy that I think was picking up a lot of buzz as we were heading through this process a little bit later. The Chiefs met with him semi-recently leading up to the draft. He kind of would make a lot of sense here. And if you're talking about a guy you want to trade up to make sure you get, maybe you don't feel like he's making it all the way to the end of the draft based on the latest of buzz going on about him.
I find it interesting a few picks after Damian Martinez goes off the board that the Chiefs do move up. I feel like that's a little bit interesting, and maybe they just felt a little bit comfortable with, letting it ride out and seeing, as long as one of these two players comes up, as long as one of these two players available, maybe like one of these running backs that we like on day 3, maybe we're just going to kind of stick and wait it out. But we'll see. Knowing how things are going, maybe they don't even go running back at all. But I do think Jacory Krosky Merritt would be one that makes a lot of sense. LaQuint Allen is another player that you really like. He's a very niche skill set as a receiver, dynamic kind of pass catcher, and some rushing ability. But we'll see where they go. Curtis Rourke just went off the board. That means we should be getting the pick for the Kansas City Chiefs here shortly. The pick is in. Haven't seen it announced or
Jared
yet.
Ivey, a defensive end out of Ole Miss, would make a lot of sense. I know they've taken a lot of offensive linemen, but he would make a lot of sense. Defensive lineman out of Ole Miss, because they've taken some, but he would make sense given he fits the Spags threshold. He kind of plays inside, outside on them. So he would be somebody worth keeping in mind. The selection's in. There it is. Let's go.
Oh, with the 228th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select running back Brashard Smith out of SMU. Matty, this is a player that you were pretty high on.
Yeah, no, I love Brashard Smith. I'm actually kind of surprised he made it this far, because you're just talking about when you get into day 3, you're looking for guys that have specific skill sets that stand out, right? Like you're looking for somebody that stands out above the rest for a reason. Brashard Smith has the most accomplished receiving pedigree of any running back in this class as a receiver, right? He played wide receiver at Miami. That's what he was. He was an offensive weapon, predominantly a wide receiver. He had a lot of people that were fans of his coming up earlier into day 3 just because of that. You can put him out there to catch passes on early downs. He's a good athlete. He is one of the more elusive backs in this entire draft class to make guys miss in the open field. So once you clear the trash at the line of scrimmage, whether that's in the passing game or on the ground, he becomes one of the most dangerous running backs in this class. So I love this pick for the Chiefs, and he fits in great with what they have going on.
Caught 39 passes last year for SMU. So you're getting a guy that, can run the football a little bit, 235 carries, 1,332 yards and 14 touchdowns on the ground, and then 39 catches, 327 yards and 4 touchdowns in the passing game. So you're getting someone that has a true, two-factor identity, two-factor ability, right? Like a guy that can win in a variety of ways. Probably not a bell cow, not a guy that you're going to just turn around and hand the football off a ton, but a player that can fit into a role, a player that can give them some juice, some athleticism, some ability in the passing game that they really don't currently have in the running back room.
No, absolutely. And he's a little undersized. I think he checked in at like 5'9", 195 pounds. So he's not the biggest running back, but he's clearly going to be more of a role specific back. He's not a guy that you're taking to be your true RB1. He's a third down. He's a Jerick McKinnon-esque back. You hope that he develops that kind of pass protection because it's not there yet. He's willing to, but he doesn't have the best pass protection, but he hasn't been asked to do it a lot. He's only been playing legitimately running back for about a year and a half at SMU after transferring there from Miami. So he is a kind of guy that I think that'll get better in that regard. But in terms of player stature, his athleticism, how dangerous he can be in the open field, and where you see him fitting with the Chiefs right now, I think it is a fantastic pick. I really do like this pick. I thought they might go a different route, but I think this is arguably a much higher upside of a pick based on what he could be moving forward.
Well, and if I told you Brashard Smith was the 133rd pick in the draft for the Chiefs, how would you have felt?
Fine. I think it's fine. That's still the range where I maybe wanted a guy that's a little bit more bell cowish RB1, but it would have been okay. You told me that was the pick when they had gotten that 5th round pick. Absolutely fantastic. You tell me you get that pick anywhere on round 7. We're doing cartwheels. Want to go do it again?
No, because I couldn't do a cartwheel to save my life, but that's what's I do think that's important here, because if we're looking at just from a pure value, like we put around a 4th round grade on him. I think you put a 4th round grade on him in the KCSN Draft Guide, and so you're getting a guy that I think anywhere on day 3 you would have felt comfortable taking. I think this has been a theme. Like the Chiefs have gotten good value, I think, for the entirety of this day 3 of this draft. So I think that's been interesting. Josh Briscoe, any thoughts on getting a running back of this skill set?
Yeah, I think it makes all the sense in the world. And what you gave up was one more roster spot. A guy who, especially with Mr. Irrelevant, is just as likely to be a UDFA who you can chase down. This costs virtually nothing, and it fills the last big remaining hole here. This is the type of running back I'd like to see all the way at the end of day 3. The weaknesses in his game do not scare me one bit on a team that does have Isaiah Pacheco on it, right? Like, if in terms of being able to immediately contribute in a unique way, it seems like he can do that. You said you guys had a 4th round grade on him in the KCSN Draft Guide, and Dane Brugler's Beast is a 5th round fringe grade. I need to read you one sentence from Dane Brugler's Draft Guide here. After 3 seasons as a pass catcher for Miami, he entered the portal, and head coach Rhett Lashley sold him on making a positional move that would allow him to be SMU's version of Isaiah Pacheco. Stylistically and build-wise, is extremely strange to me.
And usage-wise,
what a name to have funny. Be just what a weird little overlap there. I have no idea how SMU used him like Isaiah Pacheco, but a name I did not expect to see in the comp there. It's not a player comp, it's usage, I guess, but I don't know. He sold him on that. Maybe he didn't land that role. Makes a lot of sense to me, though.
Here's another fun one. This is from NFL.com. I think it's from Lance Zerline would be my guess. I think he does the majority of their write-ups, too. This is one of my favorite strengths. Fresh legs with only 253 carries. Like, you could worry about running backs getting mileage. He has very low mileage in terms of being a running back. And that also tells you he'll probably get better over time because he's still getting used to the position. So he's definitely the definition of a satellite back, right? I don't think people use that much more. We always call them 3rd down backs. Well, 3rd down backs are usually really good blockers, and I don't think he's that yet. But he is a guy that I think you call a satellite back. You get him out in space and let him do things, whether that's aligned in the slot, moving him around. So there's a lot of stuff there. And I do think he did play some special teams here. I'm looking at it too. He showed some kick return and punt coverage talent while he was still at Miami. So Brett Veach in particular, when talking about wide receivers and running backs, mentioned return ability. If Brashard Smith, somebody they see that can do that, that's like a double bonus for them.
Well, and if it was the punt return game too, like, you can throw some like the Chiefs have explored playing like with some bigger body guys, like trying to let Carson Steele, return.
Veach talked about this before the draft started. It was a running back with some kick return juice.
This is not just a kickoff returner, but like you said, like this is a guy that can track the ball in the air and collect a punt and bring it down securely and try to make some plays too. 53
career kick returns in college, averaging over 24 yards per return with 1 kick return touchdown. He did a couple punt returns, not very many of those, but yeah, he was a kick returner at Miami.
So, I mean, you're potentially, and like there's a couple guys in here that potentially fill that role now, with Noel Williams and Brashard Smith. I think it's worth like noting and paying attention to from a roster building perspective. We've kind of looked at like, okay, well, the Chiefs are not prioritizing running back, what they spend money on, like willing to draw a line with what they were going to pay J.K. Dobbins last year, who turned out to be pretty good during that season, and how they've approached it the last 3 years, which is, by the way, the best run in the history of the sport, but has been very minimal in their investments at the running back positions over the last few years. and they delay selecting a running back until round 7. Now, it's a little small trade up, which I like. I think when Damian Martinez went off the board, you saw them go up and get a running back, which I found just at least a little bit interesting because of the connections between Martinez and the Chiefs over the last month or so. But getting a good back of this quality this late, I think it proved them right on how they approached it. They prioritized a lot of positional value early on, and then they've been able to sit and just take value over the course of the last 7 hours here, and they've come out with, I think, plus value, with every pick that they've made so far.
Little nugget from Matt Hamilton, too. I don't know if you're already looking at it, Matty, but he responded to you saying, you obviously only played one season at running back after he was a receiver at Miami. Feel like there's untapped potential there, too. Also told us on Up and Adams with Kay Adams, also told us every team he visited with had plans to use him in the return game.
Yeah, no, and that completely checks off. And like we said, Brett Veach talked about it. It makes a ton of sense for where the Chiefs are at. Listen, I think Nico Remigio did a fantastic job as a return man once he took over. He's got some competition coming in now, though, right? So like that's good. You like that. I've seen some people in the comments saying, hey, you guys talked a lot about all the stuff he can do, but what does he do as an actual runner? Because we didn't spend as much time on that. And so I will say this, like, he needs some time to learn how to pace out his runs, to find the feel for them, because he hasn't played a ton of like actual running back. And at SMU, it's a little bit of a funky offense with 2 quarterbacks. One's a runner, one's more of a pocket passer. So they're all over the place. So he needs some time to figure out what exactly he's trying to process and his pacing. But Brashard Smith, he has fantastic, a second level feel, open field feel for running the ball. He's got amazing start-stop quickness. Lateral agility is through the roof, so he can make guys miss in small spaces. He has the speed to really get to the edge. And then just once he gets past the traffic and it becomes him versus somebody else in space, he is incredibly difficult to tackle. Name one other running back. When the last time the Chiefs had a running back where you could say that about, right? It's been a while, because even Jerick McKinnon, he was getting to the point where he was pretty north and south as a runner and stuff like that. So they get a skill set that they haven't had for a while at that position that fits in well with Mr. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, who are a little bit more bruisers between the tackles.
Someone asked a Tyrone Tracy comp for you?
He's not as thick. Like, I feel like, and I don't remember what Tyrone Tracy weighed in at. He might have actually weighed in a little bit less, but Tyrone Tracy ran a little bit more powerful.
Agreed.
Yeah, he was a little bit more thump to him. Brashard Smith is a little bit thin. I really do think like a more prime Jerick McKinnon type comp is kind of where I'm angling, because it is the pass catching ability. It's the ability you want him in space, not having to navigate through traffic. So I think it's kind of that. I forget what I went actually with in the
Ty Johnson
out of the Buffalo Bills. That also makes a lot of sense, because we saw him make a ton of plays throughout last year with Josh Allen in the passing game on broken plays or routes. I think there might be a little bit more potential as a runner than what we've seen from Ty Johnson, but like I think immediately you can see that kind of passing game impact.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's right. And so getting a specific skill set into the running back room, which I think you're kind of seeing like the approach for the team. Like they're not looking for the bell cow right now, and they're gonna invest the premium capital and give themselves swings at different positions. We can argue about the Omar Norman lot pick and all that kind of stuff, but they prioritize trenches. They prioritize the trenches with the first 3 picks in the entirety of the draft to make sure that they were, giving themselves some capable quality swings there. And then I think they've done a good job at just playing this board. They said heading into day 3, they liked the value at wide receiver, that they liked the value at running back. They get a 2nd round value on our board. And I think personally for me and Matty, a 3rd round value with Jalen Royals at the end of round 4. They get Jeffrey Bassa, the linebacker, in the 5th. Then they're able to get a quality running back here in Brashard Smith, just waiting the board out and deciding to finally strike at the end of round 7, moving 257 in the Mr. Irrelevant selection and 251 to get all the way up to 228 and get a running back that I think can make the team. And you've always got to consider that too at this point, right? Guys that you actually think have a chance of making your football team. And Brashard Smith, I think every pick at this point has a very good claim to a roster spot. I think these all make sense as players that should be able to stick.
Shout out Barbara. The super chat coming in. The Chiefs draft is done, she assumes. We don't know yet. This is, thanks for 3 days of solid information with some pure silliness. And listen, that's exactly what we're going for. If you tell us we're giving you information and silliness, we're happy. And Josh was freaking out, pointing for Tucker to look at the board. Tucker has a new favorite team, I think, besides the Chiefs.
Yeah, dude.
We can do this after the podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm distracted. It's okay. It's round seven.
Let's talk about it later, guys.
We'll do that later. But yeah, no, we kind of wrapping up the Chiefs draft here.
Thank you, Barbara.
We like what where we're ending up with this. I think we feel really good about this crop of players that and how they're going to fit in with the Chiefs right now.
All right, so let's grade the pick. Joshua Briscoe.
A. I don't feel like there's a whole lot that you could knock here at this point. This would not be an A in the first round, but here with the Chiefs needing to solve that running back problem, now they're not waiting for Monganai to go, and you see the running back board continue to dwindle. I think they probably found the right pocket there. Seems like a good fit. I'm perfectly happy with this at 228.
Matty?
I am also gonna go. I'm gonna go with an A. We'll go with an A. I think in the 7th round, you give this an A. I mean, as you get later in the drafts, grades probably get weighed a little bit less, but like value wise here, it's a super plus. But this is the biggest value we're gonna have on my draft board compared to who the Chiefs took, where they took them. He provides something they don't have. He kind of steps right into, I think, a very obvious and clear role right away, just being that 3rd down back. So yeah, gives him a solid A in the vacuum of the pick.
We put a fourth round grade on Brashard Smith. We had him 166 in the KCSN Draft Guide rankings. I'm giving this an A. Getting value at the running back spots late in the draft, playing the board perfectly, and I think getting someone that has the skill set to make this roster both, as a dynamic piece out of the backfield, but also a potential for the return game. So I think this is a tremendous move by the Kansas City Chiefs. They are presumably done unless they trade a 2026 6th round pick to get back in, which I don't anticipate.
I will say the Chiefs Twitter account did just tweet, that's a wrap for now. As of now, that's a wrap. That's what they said.
Yeah, you can never you never can tell with Brett Veach, but we'll stay on alert. We'll be on here for every single pick of the 2025 NFL draft. But for now, we are closing up our conversation on Brashard Smith, the newest Kansas City Chief, a running back out of SMU.